Hey guys, Jason here. Welcome to episode number 31 of my Metal and Beer series. This week I'm going to show you how to play a classic thrash metal riff, and we're going to throw some really cool sounding types of chords in there that kind of changes things up a little bit. And of course, after the lesson, I'll share what beer I'm drinking. Alright guys, so let's jump right in and learn this classic thrash metal riff. Now there's three components that I'm going to share in this metal riff that you're going to learn here. So one is the fast alternate picking. That's how we start the riff out, so we'll go over that. Secondly, we're integrating some moving power chords. We're not just sitting on one power chord, but we're going to move these things around a little bit. And the third component is a type of power chord, but as you notice, we're only playing the fifth note and the octave of that power chord, and I'll show you how to do that. So let's break down the riff. I'm not going to throw up tablatures on this, guys. A lot of the lead guitar lessons I'll throw the tabs, or if there's a lot of like single string movement, I'll do tabs. But I'm just going to call these out because really we're just playing, some chord structures here. So we're going to be starting on, of course, the E. And now I'm playing a 7th string, so don't get thrown off. I'm going to be hitting the E string and playing the E power chord. So that's your E open and then your A string 2nd fret. And this is the first component. We're going to be hitting that power chord. Then I jump right into that fast alternate picking on the E string. So if you want to just practice this. Just start out with that. And then, build that speed up. So that's the first component. I know some of you that's going to be easy, you're already there. Others, maybe you're just starting out playing the thrash metal style. And just, take time, spend time playing that style and it will come, I promise you. But you do have to put in the time. So, secondly, let's move on to what I'm calling, we're going to kind of go to the third component that I mentioned, those power chords that really they're kind of like half a power chord. Instead of playing the full power chord where you've got the root note, the 5th note, and then you've got the octave of that root note, we're just starting out on the 5th note and the octave. So the chords we're hitting that first time around is going to be on the A and D strings 2nd fret, and you're going to bar it with this finger. Just lay that finger across those two strings and those frets. And all we're doing is we're playing that, then the next one we play after that is just up to the 3rd fret. And then back to the 2nd fret. So what I play, I hope I remember what I played in the beginning. Sometimes I forget, but let's try it. Now the challenge for some of you, if you're just starting out playing the classic thrash metal style of guitar, is going to be, jumping from, then going, because I'm jumping from those notes, that barred note, that, that 2nd fret on both those strings, the A and D, back to the open E string to get that, that palm muted alternate pick in. And I do that palm muted alternate pick, as you can hear, between those notes. Hopefully that comes out clear. If you go back and listen to the first part, I actually recorded that part through the studio and just matched it up. Right now I'm just kind of playing out in the room, so hopefully that sounds clear to you guys. But you get the concept. If you're having trouble going from these chords and doing that palm mute, just try this. Just play those notes. Now the next phase of this riff, this classic metal riff I'm showing you, is exactly the same thing we just did, but those power chords that start on the 5th note and until the root, or the octave rather, those are just played the next strings up, which is your E and A. So the E and A string, you're going to bar the 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 2nd. So putting it together. Now going from those chords back to that E is a little bit, that open E is a little bit easier on that one because you're already playing on the E string. Whereas the first part, you're going from the A and D string, then jumping to that E string to get that. So that's a little bit more difficult then. But you can do it, just keep practicing that. Alright, so now let's move on to the final phase of what I'm calling my classic thrash metal riff that I'm teaching you guys. And if you notice, we started out with that fast alternate picking. We're going to merge from that fast alternate picking, which, by the way, that's the culprit of a lot of the thrash metal that you hear. We're going to shift from that to that classic chunky palm muting style. And that's exactly why I call this a classic thrash metal riff, because we're kind of merging two styles, and we're kind of going way back to the styles of some really older bands. Most of them are still around, obviously, like Megadeth, older Metallica, Testament, Slayer, Anthrax, all those bands, and many, many more, Death Angel. So they kind of had that style. They integrated that fast alternate picking, but they also had some chunky riffs in there as well. So what we're doing, I'm going to play the riff again. We're just hitting some normal power chords. And the 3 power chords we're hitting here, and I'll play that again a little slower, is going to be the E flat. We're playing on the E and A string, so that E flat starts out on the 6th fret of the E string and the 9th fret of the A string. And then we're going from E flat to a D to a C and then back. So it's going to sound like this. So kind of a simple concept here. We're palm muting on that open E string, in between those chords. And I always love to have those palm mutes on a heavier note between those power chords because it just gives it so much life. So let's go through that one more time. Now, that's pretty simple for most of you that have been playing for a while. Now, the second part to that, and this is the very last part of this classic thrash metal riff that I'm sharing with you, we're going to play, in theory, those same notes, those same chords. However, we're going to do another switcheroo and go back to the chord style that we were playing in the beginning, where we didn't start with the root note. Instead, we're starting with the 5th note of what that power chord would be, the 5th note, and we're playing the octave. So we're having to bar those notes. So in order to play these chords, you're going to start out on that 5th note of each of those chords and then play the octave. So we're going to kind of switch from the E and A string to the A and D string. And we're going to start out on the, what is this, 7, 8, the 8th fret here. I think I called a wrong fret earlier, by the way. I'm sure somebody will correct me. It was on that E flat note, but anyway, you guys can correct me in the comments. Feel free to do that. I do make mistakes from time to time, more than I would like. So we're starting out here on the 8th fret. Then we're going to 7th fret, and this is frets rather. So we're on the A and D string, 8th fret, then 7th frets, then 5th frets. And then you're still palm muting that E note, that open E string. So it's going to sound like this. slow it down a little bit. So let's start the song from start to finish here. We'll play this through together. I'll try to play it as slow as I possibly can. Here we go. One more time. Alright, so that is our classic thrash metal riff, and you're probably wondering by now, what's Jason drinking today? Well, I'm glad you asked. Today I am drinking an extremely cool beer from Stone called Totalitarian Imperial Russian Stout. Now, obviously this is going to be a dark beer. Before I pour this, I don't think I've ever had this before. I may have had it at like a... sometimes I go to these beer places that they specialize in craft beer. So I may have tasted this and I just don't remember. I've had so many beers over the years. That's a cool rhyme. Anyway, before I taste this, I want to just quickly read a couple sentences off the back of the bottle here because these sound like metal lyrics. It is from Stone Brewing, so, you know, I kind of expect that. But anyway, so it starts out by saying, Stone Totalitarian Imperial Russian Stout pours like a cast shadow of murky, deep blackness into your snifter. Go ahead, gaze into the impenetrable well of darkness in your hand. The daunting fear creeping into your soul is the abyss staring back. And it goes on with the dark beast in your hand, that kind of stuff. But I'm thinking, dude, this could be a killer metal song. So anyway, I might try to do something with that. I'll reach out to them and see if they'll let me, you know, translate that into a heavy metal song, a death metal song. So let's go ahead and start with a pour. Now, I'm breaking a rule here, guys. I am drinking this out of a regular beer glass. I know, please don't bash me too much. You're supposed to be pouring this into a snifter glass, and I do not have a snifter at home. So, breaking the rules. Oh my God. Look how dark that is. Oh, man. Let's get that a whiff. You know, and this stuff is, I knew it was over 10.6%. Again, Stone Totalitarian Imperial Russian Stout. Let's give this a try. I'm pretty excited, as you can tell. Cheers. Wow. Now, let me just say this. This is a stout, like a real stout. It's not like, you know, buttered up with all these other flavors. And I appreciate people putting some of the flavors in beers. Sometimes beers have a very prevalent coffee flavor to them, or maybe it's like a dark chocolate or some kind of mocha. I can appreciate those flavors because I like all of those flavors. But this here, and I don't know, to be honest with you guys, I haven't read all of this. I don't know what's in here. I don't know how they brew this or you know what types of ingredients are in here. But I don't taste any kind of prominent flavoring. It's just a very thick and dark stout beer, Imperial Stout. So let me give this another taste. I don't think I've had this before. Well, guys, that is indeed quite tasty. One more time, it's the Stone Totalitarian Imperial Russian Stout. Alright guys, that wraps it up for this week's Metal and Beer episode number 31. Be sure to click on this little box. There's a playlist with all of the Metal and Beer episodes, and you can watch those back to back as many times as you would like. Also, don't forget to check out the link in the description of the video, jasonstallworth.com. You can find all my music there. I've got links to Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, all those good places. Guys, thank you once again for watching my videos. Until next video, keep it metal.